Hi, Nicholas. How are you? Welcome to Vidas TV.
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How you doing?
I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome. And I didn't see you there, Miles. Sorry, I thought it was just Nicholas in the room. Hi,
All
hi,
good. Here I
welcome.
am. Hi.
All
Hi.
right, so we get to meet you guys in the season 2 opener. You guys are part of the Twilight of Adam group, an unlikely group of boys, all different personalities. So my very first question is, were there some similarities to your roles? And what was it that challenged you to play these roles?
Um, sure. Definitely. I mean, I feel like you can always find similarities within a character. That's one thing I really love to do is read a scene and be like, oh, I can react similar. I would react similar to him in that. I like finding those moments. But yeah, I think Josh is a very neurotic, panic attack prone kid.
I think we'd be friends definitely on the island.
Yeah, exactly. He wakes up and he's like, oh, I'm breathing. So it was really fun to play him.
Was there anything that challenged?
For sure. The challenging thing for me personally was my previous work has been a lot of comedy. And so this role for me was exciting and challenging because it dives into a lot of drama and real and deep moments. And that was a challenge for me in a really good way. And I was able to learn from all my co-stars and bounce off each other. And that was a really great learning experience.
Yeah, Ivan and me have a lot of similarities. We share literal identities and also just like ways of looking at the world, viewpoints. But I think the difference is that we express ourselves differently. We have a different relationship to conflict. I think Ivan's a bit more fierce in that zone, a bit more ready for it. And the sort of challenge that comes with that is being ready to fight as the character, stand up for what you believe in this way that is a bit different than you. But through that, I think I learned a lot about like what it means to stand up for yourself and how to snap back when you feel like you're being disrespected or walked on. And then that's kind of empowering ultimately.
Claudia?
Hi guys, how are you? My name is Claudia Morales and I'm with the Latino Wave. It is totally a pleasure to be with you guys today here. So my first question will be for Nicholas. Nicholas, we wanted to know a little bit more about your character and if there was something that you feel identified in your role with yourself and other roles.
Sure. Well, Josh is he's a kid that comes from a really wealthy family. You know, he's grown up in this really peaceful, beautiful environment. His family's, you know, normally away on vacations at these amazing places. So I think seeing Josh thrown into a vacation environment, but the plane crashes this time and he wakes up on an island with a bunch of people he doesn't know is a really fun journey for him. In regards to how I relate to him, there's definitely moments when, I mean, I think I would also stress out in that situation, to be completely honest with you. I think anyone would. So I found those moments quite fun to play with and see what we could do in regards to how Josh would react. Yeah, I like that aspect of him.
Great. What about you, Miles?
Yeah, I mean, Ivan is, I love that he's fashionable. I love that he's funny. I love that he's smart. I love that he cares so much about the things that he cares about. Again, I agree with Nick. Like a lot of the ways that he reacts to situations, I feel myself having similar feelings in those kinds of scenarios. Yeah, but at the same time, he is ready to fight. He's really conflict oriented. He's very defensive, has a lot of guards up. Which I understand. Yeah, I had to really figure out why he was feeling so defensive, why he was always feeling cornered. It's a vulnerable part of a character to touch.
That's great. And guys,
Kelly.
oh, sorry.
Kelly?
Hi, thanks so much for talking with me today. I'm Kelly Kearney, and I'm from Starry Constellation Magazine. Nicholas, I'll start with you. Is there something that you learned about yourself by playing this role? And what would that be?
Sure. As I said earlier, I come from a lot of comedy, so I was definitely, this was a huge challenge for me to do this role. And there was a lot of moments throughout the season where I was like, whoa, I've never done anything like that before. I haven't had to really dive into like a deep moment. So that for me was challenging, but I think, you know, through a lot of trust and respect with the fellow cast, was able to pull those moments off. And I think that was really nice. When I sat back and watched the season, I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, I think Josh really came through how I wanted. So that for me was really nice to watch. I was really happy with it.
And you, Miles, did you learn anything about yourself while playing this role?
Yeah, I think I learned to not take for granted these identities that I feel personally so comfortable with, that feel so implicit and inherent to who I am. Ivan is often standing up for himself in a way that is, you know, he's still sort of figuring himself out in this big, scary world where he is this minority. To figure out from Ivan how to prioritize yourself and how to take care of yourself when you feel a little in danger. How to express yourself in more ways than one, more ways than just verbally. It was good. I feel like it taught me about empathy, honestly. Kind of corny, but.
Thank you so much.
Mauricio?
Hi guys, how are you?
Hey, good, thanks.
Good, thank you.
Excited to talk to you. So I love how the Wilds dives into a fear that we all have, which is the fact of getting stranded on an island and not knowing what's happening to you. But it also has all these deep emotional and social components to it. For you as actors, what's the feeling of diving into a series like this that's not a regular thing, and the fact that today shows nowadays are bringing to the table more complex content? How has it been for you?
Sure. Well, first of all, I was a fan of the first season, so having the opportunity to jump on board a show that's already so successful and already telling so many amazing stories was a really exciting thing. I think being a part of it, it's been an amazing experience to share these stories. You know, you read the script and you sit back and you go, wow, I think it's really cool that we get to share this moment and put all this work into hopefully give the opportunity to people who are watching the show to like talk about it in their real life. And I think that's a really amazing thing.
What about you, Miles?
Yeah, I think the beauty of this ensemble show is that you've got 16 characters that are well-rounded, dynamic, full of strengths and weaknesses and people that make mistakes. In that, I think the audience is really able to connect to these people, laugh with them, cry with them, see themselves in them. When it comes to dealing with socio-political issues, things that might be touchy, how beautiful that this cast of young actors gets to traverse these terrains that are important. I mean, as Nick said, people are going to watch these stories and see themselves, see characters like them talking these things out, dealing with these very complicated issues. That's like what authentic representation is about. It's very critical.
Definitely, that's true. And if you guys,
Katya, I'm sorry, one question only, please. Katya?
Thank you. Katya Woods. My question is, how was it for you playing, because each one of your characters has specific traits that aren't exactly set up for this environment. Nicholas, your character is a hypochondriac, so definitely being in that environment is not great. And Miles, your character is not exactly good at building with people that are out of the comfort zone. Can you talk a little bit about what you used in your own personal journey to bring to help your character in terms of like with facing their fears? Nicholas, if you could answer first, please.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Josh is definitely a hypochondriac, so throwing him onto an island, it's not a great combination. you got this kid who is addicted to taking pills for any reason. He'll just find a reason to do that to make himself feel better. He also doesn't really fit in necessarily. He wants to fit in and he means well, but he doesn't have a lot of friends in his real life. So throwing him in this environment with all these dudes that he doesn't know, and in this crazy scenario where you're trying to not only go through being a teenage guy, but you're also trying to survive on an island, was a pretty fun but hectic experience. And I think personally, you just grow with the character. I mean, every episode ramps up, and every time you get the new script, you just read it and you go, okay, I'm going to dive into this and just trust and have fun with it and see where we go. So I enjoyed that aspect.
Thank you, Miles.
Yeah, I share a lot of similarities with Ivan, in that we share a lot of identities, a lot of ways we look at the world. We're both very big personalities in a room. But I think we have differences, but in the way that we express ourselves and the way that we deal with conflict, or being around, as you said, people that Ivan normally wouldn't choose to be around. When it comes to bringing myself to the character and that experience, like, I have been a fish out of water. I've been a big fish in a little pond, little fish in a big pond. I've been in a lot of new scenarios throughout my life. I've had to introduce myself to a lot of people, and I personally use comedy and graciousness and using the things that make me different to sort of bring myself to the table. And I think I had to do a similar thing with Ivan. He is in this ensemble of people that are very different to him. So you just have to sort of get to know how the character understands themselves and bring out all those little idiosyncrasies and little ways of telling jokes and little ways of moving your hands that make that character stand out.
Jamie?
Hi, Jamie Ruby, Sci-Fi Vision. Thanks for talking to us today. For both of you, your characters deal with like confidence issues, some bullying issues, things like that. Do you think that the island, though, impacted them in a positive way in that respect and helped them kind of grow? Can you talk a little bit about that? Nicholas, then Miles.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of Josh's journey happens on the island. We don't look too much into his past. It's kind of how he deals with what's thrown at him. I think he grows a lot. He goes through a life-changing moment on the island. And I think after that, Josh really, after having the community of boys come around him and support him, it really helps him feel loved and like he has friends for the first time in his life. So I think overall it ends up being positive without giving too much away. I think we leave a little twist at the end, leaving potential for more, but we'll see.
Miles.
Yeah, I think Ivan comes onto the island confident, big ego, has this idea that he has a really deep understanding of himself. But through the events that happen on the island, I think he reflects on who he was before, and has to figure out how to deal with people that are challenging to him and that challenge his ego and that make him feel insecure. I think through events that occur on the island, he sort of learns to understand empathy and softness and vulnerability, and how those are just as powerful as his fierceness, his ability to fight, his sort of sharp version of confidence. And I think we sort of get to a more well-rounded, soft version of Ivan.
All right, thank you so much, and congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
Megan?
Megan Pacious, Beautiful Ballad. For both of you, what are you guys hoping fans get from the season?
Sure. Well, I think one of the amazing things about the Wilds is all of the taboo subjects that we talk about on it. I think Amy, Sarah, and the writing team do such an incredible job at bringing up topics that maybe aren't discussed in your everyday life. So I think if through watching this series, that gives the opportunity for people to maybe discuss their real life things that are going on that they can relate to one of the characters about, I think that's a really amazing thing.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think season 1 does a great job of presenting these different characters and giving them each these very full-bodied portraits and character studies. And what I'm particularly excited about season 2 is that you've got a new ensemble of teenage boys, but with the same writers and with that same care and attention to detail, you're seeing a sort of softer, more sensitive, more vulnerable, more emotional side of being a teenage boy in America. And I think that viewers will be very excited and sort of touched and challenged in being presented these really complicated ways of looking at boys on an island.
Thank you.
Geek?
Gentlemen, hey, congratulations on the series for itself, because this is such a great character study and keeps everyone captivated. But let's be honest, if you were stranded on the island with these real characters, who would actually get under the skin the most with yourself, and you probably would vote off the island?
That's so funny. I'd probably get under my own skin, to be honest. Yeah, that's a hard question. Honestly, we all get on so well.
Yeah, I think in terms of characters, like pretty similarly to Ivan, I think Kieran would get under my skin, certainly.
It's funny. Yeah, I'd agree. If we're talking about characters, definitely Kieran. Yeah.
Most excellent. Kieran would be my vote too. Thank you.
And our last question will be Lisa.
Hi guys, Lisa Heiser, Shine On Media. Thank you for delivering another highly addictive season. Like, I'm already ready for a season 3. So hypothetically, if we go into a season 3, who is the female character you most want to see your male character interact with?
Ooh. I would love to see Josh and Fatten. I think that would be a hilarious combination because they're like nothing alike. So I think she'd have a lot to teach him about how to chill out and just have a good time.
I'd love to see Ivan and Fatten as well. I think because they're both so smart and they both fill a very specific slot in each of their respective ensembles. Like, I think they'd be funny. I think they'd be a little mean. I think they'd have a lot of intelligent things to discuss. Power duo, in my opinion.
Thank you so much and congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much. That is our time. Thank you for a lovely conversation.
Thank you, everyone.